She watched him burn alive, not from a distance, up close, close enough to hear it. The man had done nothing wrong. He hadn't attacked anyone. He hadn't stolen anything. He hadn't spoken a single word out of turn. He had simply seen her, and for that, she fed him to his own dogs. Now here's what makes this disturbing. In Greek mythology, love destroyed kingdoms. Desire started wars. It turned heroes into monsters and dragged gods off their thrones. Zeus couldn't resist it. Apollo couldn't escape it. Poseidon chased it across every ocean he commanded. Everyone fell, except three. Three goddesses looked at the same force that controlled every god and mortal in existence, and deliberately walked away from it. Forever. But this wasn't innocence. This wasn't shyness. What they actually chose instead, and what it cost everyone around them, is darker than anything your history class ever told you. Let's start with the one nobody talks about. And I need you to understand something before I tell you her story. The Greeks didn't forget about her. They didn't accidentally leave her out of the myths. They buried her, deliberately, because what Hestia did was so quietly devastating to the power structure of Olympus that acknowledging it fully would have unraveled everything. Her name was Hestia, firstborn of Kronos and Rhea, which means before Zeus existed, before any Olympian drew breath, Hestia was already there. And then Kronos swallowed her whole. No warning, no fight, just darkness. She spent years trapped inside the stomach of a titan who was so terrified of being overthrown that he consumed his own children rather than risk it. When Zeus finally forced Kronos to release his siblings, Hestia came out last. First taken, last freed. Now think about what that does to a person, what it does to a goddess. She had experienced total powerlessness, complete, suffocating imprisonment, before she ever saw sunlight. And when she finally stood on Olympus with the entire world open in front of her, the very first thing two gods did was approach her like she was something to be claimed. Apollo came first, then Poseidon, two of the most powerful beings in existence, and she turned both of them down without hesitation. Then she did something that no other Olympian had ever done. She walked to Zeus, placed her hand on his head, the most sacred oath in all of Greek religion, and made herself permanently, legally, divinely untouchable. Zeus gave her the sacred hearth in return, the fire at the center of Olympus itself. Here's what that actually meant. Every prayer offered to every Greek god, Zeus, Poseidon, Ares, Apollo, passed through Hestia's fire before it reached them. Every sacrifice, every ritual, every offering from every mortal who ever bent their knee to Olympus. The gods ate because Hestia allowed it. She became the invisible axis the entire divine world rotated around. And she did it without a single weapon, without a single battle, without making a single enemy. She just made herself so necessary that removing her would collapse everything. The gods never spoke about it, because speaking about it meant admitting it. And admitting it meant admitting she had won. Now I need to tell you something about Athena that changes everything. Most people think Athena was born powerful, born gifted, born chosen. She wasn't. She was born as a consequence of the most desperate act Zeus ever committed. Here's what happened. Zeus received a prophecy. His child with the Titaness Métis would one day surpass him completely, would take his throne the exact way he took Kronos's. The way Kronos took Uranus's before him. The pattern that had already destroyed 2 generations of gods was accelerating toward him. And Zeus panicked. He seduced Métis, earned her trust completely, and then, while she was already pregnant with his child, he swallowed her alive. He destroyed the mother to control the child. Months later, Zeus developed a headache so catastrophic it felt like his skull was being split from the inside. Because it was. Hephaestus took an axe to his head, and out came Athena, fully grown, fully armored, screaming a war cry that cracked the sky. She was born knowing what her father had done, born from a betrayal she had witnessed from inside it. And the first thing she did when she entered the world was look at Zeus, the god who had destroyed her mother to prevent a prophecy, and choose her oath. Not from innocence, from information. Here is what no mythology channel will say directly. Athena watched desire operate from the inside. She saw exactly what happened when a god wanted something badly enough. She saw what it cost. She saw who paid for it. And she decided, with the cold, surgical clarity she would become famous for, that she would never give anyone that leverage over her. When Tiresias accidentally saw her bathing, she blinded him in the same breath. No warning, no conversation, no mercy, because mercy was a door. And Athena didn't leave doors open. She governed Athens, the most powerful city in the ancient world, and built it into something no god could take from her. Not through marriage, not through alliance, not through desire, through being completely, permanently indispensable. Sound familiar? Hestia made herself necessary. Athena made herself indispensable. But the third goddess did something neither of them did. She made herself feared. Artemis was born first, Apollo's twin, but she arrived before him. And within the first hour of her existence, she turned around and helped deliver her brother into the world. She came into existence serving someone else, and she spent the rest of eternity making sure that never happened again. When she was still a child, young enough that gods didn't take her seriously yet, she climbed onto Zeus's knee and made her demands. Eternal virginity, a silver bow, 60 immortal companions, every mountain range in the known world as her hunting ground, and one city. Zeus gave her everything. Immediately, most people read that as Zeus being generous. It wasn't. Zeus gave Artemis everything she asked for because even then, as a child, something in her gaze told him exactly what refusing would cost him. She took those gifts and built something that had never existed in Greek mythology before or since. The Hunters of Artemis, an immortal sisterhood, women and nymphs who swore the same oath she had, received the same power she had, and answered to no god, no man, and no Olympian decree except hers. They didn't just reject marriage. They made rejecting it a religion. And Artemis enforced the oath with a consistency that made even Zeus careful. When Zeus himself violated the nymph Callisto, one of Artemis's own hunters, and Callisto became pregnant, Artemis discovered it and banished her. Immediately. Completely. No exceptions made for the king of Olympus, no acknowledgement that Zeus was involved, no petition filed, no justice sought. Just removal. Because Artemis understood something about power that the other gods never learned. The moment you start making exceptions, you stop having rules. And without the rules, the sisterhood meant nothing. And if the sisterhood meant nothing, she was alone. She refused to be alone. So when Actaeon, the hunter from the beginning of this video, stumbled upon her bathing and stood there frozen, she didn't hesitate. She transformed him mid-breath into a stag. His dogs found him before he could make a sound. She had no lightning, no ocean, no forge, just absolute, unwavering sovereignty over every inch of her domain, and the total willingness to demonstrate it. Here is the thing that rewrites this entire story. In ancient Greece, a married woman was legally her husband's property. Her children belonged to him. Her name, her body, her inheritance, everything transferred at marriage. She could not own land, could not speak in court, could not exist, legally, outside of a man's household. Every mythology channel frames these three as the gentle goddesses. The modest ones, the chaste, quiet, unthreatening ones tucked safely at the edges of the pantheon. That is the most successful misdirection in the history of religion. Hestia held Olympus together and collected no debt for it. Athena built the most powerful civilization in the ancient world and shared credit with no one. Artemis wrote her own laws in the wilderness and enforced them on gods and mortals equally. In a mythology where female power was almost always filtered through a man who permitted it, these three found the one loophole, and they sealed it shut behind them so no one else could use it to pull them back. They were never the quiet ones. They were the only ones nobody could touch. So here is the question I want sitting in your head tonight. Athena was born from the god who swallowed her mother alive to stop a prophecy. She spent her entire existence inside his pantheon, bearing his symbols, governing his preferred city, fighting his wars. Was Athena actually free? Or was she the most elaborate solution Zeus ever built? A goddess who believed she escaped, while spending eternity serving the exact god who erased her mother.